Hello, friends, internet, anyone who happens to see this. Welcome to the Power of 30 Days. I am creating this essentially for myself, but potentially I might share it in the future, depending on how it turns out. I'm not one to put myself out there too much as far as making bold claims and whatnot. But I have made this transformation before, so I know on a certain level that I'm capable of doing it. I was younger then by a couple of years, so it's going to be different now. Obviously, I'm approaching 47 years old, which I know it's hard to believe looking at this face, but things change a little bit from 35, and when you have an injury and doing jujitsu, wrestling, whatever, basketball, twist your ankle, you're over it in 2 or 3 days. Whereas at 47, so it's a different story, man. It might be 2 or 3 weeks before you're over it, and that's sort of changes the old mindset when it's time to try to do self improvement and um, kick yourself into a little higher gear, as it were. So let me talk a little bit about the power of 30 days. First off, this was supposed to be a live stream, but I had some difficulty. It's ironic. I've had it all set up before, but then I left it and walked away, came back, forgot how I did it before, tried to do a different encoder and all that. So I'll bore you as little as possible. As unceremoniously as possible, I'd like to kick off today a new personal improvement and accountability project. I am reading this because I wanted to get this first part just right, to share the premise and the parameters for the power of 30 days. So you can think of it in terms of a self improvement vlog, if you will, or documentary or whatever. It's not directed at anybody really but myself. But if it works for me, potentially it might work for other people. And ultimately, I got inspired to do this by watching a lot of the testimonials around DDP yoga, which I don't even know how I found that. I don't really look at wrestling websites or yoga websites. It just popped up in my feed one day, and I watched a few of the transformations people had made on there, and it was pretty awesome. And the thing that struck me about it was very low impact, which typically means low injury. Lots of the things that I do, like with jujitsu and whatnot, sometimes not exactly low impact. And if you're not into it regularly, it's real easy to hurt yourself in small ways usually. But anyway, so I've written this. Imagine if every day you actually accomplished half of what you thought about doing that day. Wouldn't that be a lot more productive than the amount of stuff we generally get to on any given day? If you're anything like me, you've got a serious backlog of things you plan to do but somehow got sidetracked from. This is so true of my life. As an artist, it's easily, so I'll go through these intense periods where I'll walk a lot or whatever and try to work on weight loss. And I even got down 25 pounds I guess earlier this year. And then you get distracted by your artistic endeavors, or I'm a musician, so I'll be playing shows and I'll think, oh, I got to get ready for the show, or I got to go talk to somebody about this recording or whatever. And it's real easy for me to get sidetracked. That's kind of the point. Join me for the next 30 days as I track my own progress toward my weight loss goals and several projects that have been on the to-do list for far, far too long. And here are the parameters. For each day, I'll create at least one short vlog to cover the accomplishments of the previous day. I'll weigh in once a week, and along the way, I'll share the particulars about my exercise and diet habits. Now, day one, I'm keeping up, by the way, if you guys want to try this yourselves. I'm keeping up with my caloric intake and my exercise with a free app called MyFitnessPal. There's a pay side of it, but if you want to, you can use it basically. You just have to deal with ads, but you can use it basically if you just download it and use the free version, which is what I've been doing for some time. And I actually can track my progress back about a year and a half with that, so I can see exactly where I've done well and I've kind of fallen off. But last week, I was busy with working on a documentary for the men's soccer team at Pfeiffer that I've been doing with a new associate that I've met, and I was really kind of distracted from my goals for eating healthy, and I ate really bad for maybe 2 or 3 days. And the third day, the next day, which was Sunday yesterday, I really felt terrible, and I actually kind of noticed for the first time that when I do eat something that I really shouldn't. Typically speaking, we're gluten free at our house. We don't eat bread, but we had pizza that night, regular bread pizza, delicious, But it was, it made me feel really yucky the whole day Sunday, and so try to clean that out. I'm going to kick this off with um, a 1 day juice fast, at least 1 day, and we might take it on. Typically in the past, me being such a big guy, juice fasts have kicked my butt. They always make me feel sick. But I'm gonna do this for 1 day to try to kind of compensate for that really, really bad day where I had 3 meals that just did not fall into my profile in any way, shape, or form. So this is a product that's called Suja, and it's a fresh pressed um, organic juice combination, just like if you juice some lemons and what else? This particular one, a little bit of maple syrup. Maple syrup's usually a staple of juices for juice fast because it gives you that sustenance and sort of a vegan product. Cayenne's pretty common. Lemon juice. Anyway, gonna do 4 of these today, and if that's not enough, I'm gonna have a whey protein smoothie. But that'll be my intake for today. So I'm gonna share this with you. Just kicking this off. Sometimes these can taste good, but then some of them are a little bit. They don't exactly look like something you go, oh, delicious. No, it's like it's medicine. I gotta drink it. Okay, so here we go, guys. That one's not too bad. This is the cayenne pepper making my eyes water a little bit, and a slight aftertaste, but altogether a little bit of carrot. I can taste the carrot a little bit. Not too bad. I can definitely deal with it. So that was breakfast, and this will be lunch. And apart from that, all I'm drinking is unsweetened green tea with a little bit of stevia. And that's sort of my happy place. I actually drink that all the time. I really love it. And then water, and that's it for all my drinking this 30 days. So this one's running on like 7 minutes now. I have plans to start the yoga today and to do 2 or 3 miles walking for my low impact cardio. And then I'm going to start on one of the projects, which is kind of on my to do project list. I have a green screen area in my basement where I have my photography / videography studio and my practice area. Well, maybe about 6 or 8 months ago, I started back on this, really performing a lot out with my little acoustic set, and I've been taking lights and the PA with me a lot. Well, I just got lazy bringing it back. I just kind of set it in my little theater room, never took it in there and set it back up, which in turn means when I rehearse just with the acoustic, not with my pedal and the lights and the PA and the whole setup like I would do if I were performing live. And it's really better to kind of create the whole atmosphere. So if I'm going to be standing up, I'm standing up. I'm using my VoiceLive 3 pedal for my backing vocals and loops and stuff, and I'm rehearsing it just the way that I am going to perform it, and that usually equals a smoother performance. And because I haven't been doing that, I've had a couple of slip ups with that pedal where I'm just it's like I'm not totally dialed into it. So one of my goals for a couple of weeks now has been go back down and set that back up, get my photography studio set back up with all the key lights and stuff, and that way I can use it. If it's not set up, of course, I think I could use that, but I'll just go outside and shoot instead. And it's just a lazy thing. So I'm trying to work on that. And then another big project, which I might get to a little bit of today, is the VHS archive, my 1,000 plus VHS and DVD / Blu-ray archive room with my desk. It's been in a state of disarray. I'm gonna take part of the credit for that because I think this is about personal accountability. I let it get a little messy, but also my wife contributed to it by just thinking, here's the room nobody uses. Let's go dump stuff in this room. So in addition to cleaning it up, which is probably a couple of day project for me, taking things out, cleaning it, putting things back in an orderly way. We're talking like 5, 6 racks full of stuff, and it's in the ultimate upstairs room, So do that, and then start using that room to do these vlogs because any kind of space that's not being used ultimately becomes Nancy's storage space. That's right, you heard me. I said Nancy's storage space, which means stuff projects that she's gonna do or thinks she's gonna do. Any other supplies for that get dumped in there. But we're very busy here. One of the things I've debated on whether to mention this or not, but of course some of you that know me know that we have a nutrition store, and there's really no reason for me not to have any problems I have handled by proper nutrition and supplementation, and that's something that I personally have to kind of like own up to, having not really just been consistent about it. If I have a little issue here or there, I'll take whatever I need, based on my wife's recommendation, who's sort of like the naturopathic healer here, and it usually works out. But there's things that I could take long term just for general health that I'm just not great about taking a pill every day. She's constantly on me about that. So I'm going to go try to pick up one of those little pill cases and get those pills, pills meaning supplements, in those slots for each day, so that I can just open them up, pop a handful of them, and I've got all my stuff. Vitamin D is like, for example, I don't spend a ton of time outdoors. Vitamin D, in the past, I've been told by doctors, hey, you should have a little more vitamin D, that sort of thing. But it's not like I'm suffering, but I'm heavier than I want to be. I feel like I'm maybe 100 pounds overweight. Now, if you were to look at the BMI chart, possibly, I'm 140 pounds. But for me, just for what I want to walk around at, I weighed in today, and from my latest weight loss, I've gained 7 pounds back, and I'm about 327.8, which is, over 300 pounds is too much. Anything over 300 pounds, I found, has contributed to joint pain here and there, and just I don't have the energy that I'd like to have. So it'd be awesome if in this 30 days I could find a way to lose that 27 pounds and be down below 300 or at 300. I think that would be a major accomplishment for this 30-day project. 30 days, it's a long time to vlog every day. I'm going to have rest days from the exercise, but I'm going to try to vlog anyway, to talk about whatever I've accomplished. And they won't all be like 12, 15 minutes like this one. They'll be shorter. But this will give you an idea of where I'm going with it, and we'll be able to chart the progress, and at least it makes me accountable every single day for what I've done. For example, this week it's supposed to rain every single day. I'm supposed to walk every single day. Fortunately, years ago I got a treadmill, refurbished, a big Life Fitness that I can handle. So that excuse is currently expunged. I just have to go walk in there instead of walking outdoors like I like to do. So walked about 2 miles yesterday. The norm is about 3 miles, and I like to walk in the evenings downtown if it's not raining. So there's plenty of places. I live 3 miles from Mar Mountain State Park, so plenty of great places to hike. And lastly, I'll just share that kind of a long-term goal for the summer is to do a 20-mile round trip hike over a weekend through the Uaris. I said round trip. I actually mean 20 miles total. I can walk 10 miles right now without any kind of ill effects from it, but that's not carrying a backpack and camping, or whatever, or dealing with the ups and downs, which surely are going to be a whole lot harder. That's just on a flat straightaway. I've done that maybe twice this summer, and I was like, well, I expected this giant weight loss from just walking 10 miles a day a couple of days, and I had regular weight loss that week, which was like, a pound, and I lost my enthusiasm because it takes 2.5 hours for me to walk like 10 miles, So I've kind of come off of that, but I want to start building up, walking with that pack, walking out at Mar Mountain on Sugarloaf Trail, and really kind of building up the muscles and the core strength to handle that 20-mile trip without any kind of adverse. If my life depended on it, I could probably do it right now, but I'd be sore. I'd probably hurt myself, as far as like my ankles and knees and stuff. So just want to do this the right way and kind of power up over this next 30 days. And at the end of the 30 days, we'll just move on to the next project, which might be, hiking part of that. I don't know. But the power of 30 days, I think a lot can be done in 30 days, and I'm here to prove it. So prove it to myself first and foremost. And then if this works out, I'll be able to share this with somebody else, and they might go, hey, yeah, in 30 days I could quit smoking, or, adopt a healthier lifestyle, or, finish up that yard work I was going to do. Who knows? But that's the premise, and that's the idea.